Awesome.
Dig it.
I'm recording on my end.
Okay, cool. I think the only thing that I wanted to cover with you was time. We'll go about 25, 30 minutes or so.
That works for me, whatever. I don't have any hard deadline on my end.
Okay. The only thing with the, I try to keep it within that because I think Zoom only allows you
40 minutes.
40 minutes, right? So
The free Zoom, you get cut off at 40 minutes.
hopefully there's a countdown because otherwise
No,
I'll be screwed.
There's not.
There's no
So
countdown.
you know what? We almost should get out and get back in.
Yeah, I was curious about that, how that would work, but
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, do they add up the time from that link or like how that would work? But
Exactly.
I've got a session at 4:00, so if we end at like no later than 10 till, then I'll be good because I have to put all my equipment away and everything else.
Well, you know me, I'm Irish, so I'll let you shut me up.
No, do you go by Figs? Is that right?
Figs is perfect. Fiacre, Figs, anything works.
How do I pronounce your name if I'm saying it correctly?
Fiacre.
Fiacre?
Yeah.
Okay. And then O'Sullivan's your last name.
And then my last name's O'Sullivan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come in with the first question. I'm going to actually, from my part, I'm going to record the intro after we get done talking.
Totally.
So I'm just going to come right in with the first question, and after we say hi and everything else.
Great.
And it's going to be couples counseling, and I'll probably say something like, "You picked the hardest of all forms of counseling. What is it about couples counseling that you enjoy or led you to that aspect of psychotherapy or something like that?"
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me adjust this pop filter here. It's giving me problems. It's probably good enough. Okay. And 3-second countdown and we'll get started. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Figs, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on, John. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. So how's San Francisco?
Well, it's interesting. It's raining right now, which we've had a few days of sun, and so it's actually kind of, being from Ireland, it's kind of nice actually for me to be in a kind of like, a slightly wet, but not too cold day. I like it.
That's awesome. You kind of feel like you're at home then, huh?
Exactly. Without it being bitter cold, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind a little bit of rain. I can still wear shorts.
Right. So yeah, like upper 50s and rainy, that's short weather for you.
Exactly. I would wear shorts every day if it wasn't for having to see clients. The only thing that makes me put on long, jeans or whatever. Sometimes I give away my age. I call them trousers, and people are always like looking at me going, "You can't be calling them trousers.
You can't be doing that." Yeah. Definitely showing your age there.
Right.
So I just let's just go ahead and get started. One of the reasons I wanted to reach out to you is because you've got a successful couples counseling practice out there in California, and I like the messages that you put out. I like the vibe that you put out there as well. And couples counseling is tough, and a lot of therapists stay away from it. What kind of led you into doing one of the harder aspects of psychotherapy?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I love it. Like, I find it exhilarating and exciting, and maybe because it is harder. I think there are so many different things you have to be good at, right? Like, you got to be able to do all the regular things that, I'm an experiential psychotherapist. I help people feel their feelings, have experiences, as opposed to try and teach them things. So I have to do all those regular things that an experiential therapist does, like be able to soften and help people feel their vulnerability. But I also have to be able to match people's energy when they're upset and angry and pissed off with each other, and be willing to get in amongst them. Like, and we can't just sit back being all soft and mellow while people are angry or frustrated, right? So I love just the range of different parts of myself that I have to be able to pull from in the room. And you just don't know. Like, I can't sit around like meditating before sessions and go like, today I'm going to have a really mellow day. It doesn't work like that. A couple, I could think that's what's going to happen. Then a couple comes in, they're already fighting before they come in the door, and they're fuming mad, not looking at each other. And you just can't sit back and be all mellow and detached, right? You got to get in amongst it. And, so I love that, I mean, on a personal level too, look, I do think my life's work has been like, how do I transform my own like raw edges and like painful places inside that make it hard for me to be in intimate relationship, right? Because, kind of the assumption I have is that all people have places inside where they don't feel lovable. And I certainly have those places. And when those places get touched, I don't look particularly lovable to other people, right? Because I'm either blaming or shutting down or something like that. And so for me, being able to do that work on myself in terms of how can I show up in that vulnerability, even though I can feel threatened, has been, the key that I could be married and be a dad and happy in that life. It's just amazing. And so getting to help other people do the exact same thing is just phenomenal. Like, it's crazy that that's what I do for a living, that people like come and see me so I help them love themselves and love each other is awesome.
I'm really glad that you said that, because I feel like being, I guess, having to feel like you're a certain way or a certain demeanor with the couples is one of the biggest reasons why people will burn out doing couples work, and why you'll have a lot of people stay away from it. You just alluded to, I feel like you talking about you're bringing your own stuff into sessions.
Absolutely.
Being able to model behavior for your couples, and being in the moment there with them.
Absolutely. Look, at some point I'm going to actually write a blog post on this. So I have all this, like, I've loads of experience and trainings, and I used to live at Esalen, and my dad's a therapist, mom's a therapist, sister's a therapist. I've lived in this world forever, right? But the number one qualification I have to do this work is like, I'm another wounded human being that has managed to do my own personal work so I can help other people. And so like, when I'm in the room with a couple, I'm not sitting there as the expert. I'm just like, oh my God, you think you're angry right now. You should see me, but I'm upset. Like, the only reason I'm able to be wise in this moment is because I know exactly what that's like, to feel abandoned by your partner. It's like they never come home. It seems like you're not important. Or I know exactly what it's like to feel like no matter what you do, your partner's never going to be happy with you, and how painful those places are. Without that, like, what I would say, the barometer of those vulnerable feelings and ability to sit in them inside myself, I could never help other people. Even if I had all the wisdom and knowledge of like what to do and when to do it in the world, it's not going to work unless I can really feel that pain, and I'm willing to share it with my clients.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So a lot of people that are watching this, maybe they're couples therapists. I'm going to guess that there's some, and they're listening to what you're saying. And I'm guessing they're asking the question, how do these couples respond to you when you're coming through in such a unabashed, authentic way? Like, how are they responding to your demeanor?
Well, I mean, I don't know what to, I mean, look, just, it's taken a long time. It's not like just an overnight thing that I am comfortable being exactly who I am, like warts and all, right? And so obviously this is just my own worldview. That is unbelievably powerful, to be comfortable. This is who I am. These are the places I can feel ashamed. I get angry too. I shut down too. Like, that's really, it helps people feel safe. It helps people feel contained. And the most important rule for me is that nobody gets shamed. No one will ever leave my office having felt shamed. So what's the best way I know how to do that is like, again, my chair, even though I'm 6'3", I try and keep my chair lower than theirs. I'm smaller than them. I'm more slouched than they are. Now, I wish that was on purpose. I'm bad.
Right.
But like, so yeah, look, I'm a wounded healer. I lead with it. And if people resonate with it, brilliant. If they don't, look, as you know, as a therapist, there's no way my way of working is right for everybody, right? If someone wants a buttoned up therapist that is the expert in the room and they have a pipe, I was going to say a beard, but it's okay. But you know what I mean? They look that like, they've got the dark brown furniture and the pipe and, it's just not me, so, and that's cool. I'm happy to help them find someone else. But people love authenticity, I think. I do.
Well, you're not trying to get everybody to like you. I mean, that's simply put, but you're not trying to get everyone's services and trying to cater to their needs and wants in ways that you're not comfortable doing. So you're staying authentic to yourself and you're helping them in the process.
Absolutely. I mean, let's be clear. I really like people to like me. But again, I know that as a vulnerability inside of me. Like, there is nothing I'm going to be able to do with a couple unless we have an alliance. Right. Now, I definitely, like every couples therapist is different, right? I lean on my likability for sure. I'm probably a lot more than other therapists. Do you remember like when George Bush, like Jr. or whatever, was going for office and it was all about, would you have a beer with him?
Yeah.
Like, I definitely probably lean a little bit more than most therapists, and maybe more than I should, is that people actually enjoy coming to see me because they're going to go see someone. Not only are they going to be able to feel their vulnerability and connect with each other intimately, but we are going to have a laugh doing it. Even in the midst of crying, we'll have fun.
Do you feel like that helps them not take themselves and their problems so seriously?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love the old like Gestalt, expression that people used to say in Esalen back in the day. If it's hopeless, it's not serious. And if it's serious, it's not hopeless. Right? So he's always trying to like, look, this is really serious right now. It's really terrible. But then I'm always trying to give him like a broader perspective about, and, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. You're just having a tough moment with each other. It'll get better. Let me the one thing I want to say about that. There is a time, and this is what I was saying about the range, being able to put things in perspective and help people calm down and not feel so threatened is really important, right? But there is also a time, right? And again, I think this is the craft of couples work, that you have to actually lead people even deeper into their vulnerable pain. And so instead of actually putting in perspective and everything is okay, you're actually helping them to surrender to what they first feel as hopelessness, but to just like, this is terrible. I'm hurting so much being disconnected from you. And as of this moment, I'm not going to try and make it better. I'm not going to try and see it as a wonderful thing. Because it's when people go down to that place and they're actually softened, if they can engage with their partner from that place, that's where they can find each other again and reconnect with each other. So you got to do both. Put things in perspective so that people don't like go crazy when they're disconnected. But then once we have put it in perspective so that they're actually de-escalated, they're not like looking like, two tigers fighting with each other, right? Then I'm actually going to help them feel even deeper the sadness and pain that they get in when they're disconnected, right?
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest influence as far as couples work?
Oh, like without a doubt, Sue Johnson. So, I'm a certified emotionally focused therapist.
Oh.
Obviously, I pull on like loads of stuff, and there is no doubt Sue and every other EFT therapist that is part of the, EFT community is sitting with me right beside me in the room, right? There's a map. I know exactly where we are on the emotionally focused therapy map at every moment. I shouldn't say every moment. The moments where I'm not sure where we are, are, you know, that's where there's potential magic that can happen, right? Where the ground seems to have been pulled from under my feet, and trusting the process. Anyway, so.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I like to hear it in terms of, you know, there's so many things we could pull from as a couples therapist, so many different directions.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we're not doing the thing that kind of calls to us, then I think we're doing a disservice probably in our work.
Absolutely.
It helps keep, obviously it helps us keep focused when we're coming from the model we believe in. If you haven't touched on this yet, I want you to tell me, if you can, again, couples therapy, extremely challenging. There's all kinds of dynamics going on.
Yeah.
A lot of therapists stay away from it. But what's your favorite thing about doing couples work?
Well, it's pretty magical to see the kind of transformation that is possible, right? Like, you know, people come in to see me and, you know, of course, you know, that whole thing, people usually don't try and change out of inspiration. They wait till things are desperate enough. So unfortunately, most couples that come to see me are feeling pretty desperate. And it is almost unimaginable to most couples that I'm going to be able to help them get better. And in fact, a lot of people are scared I'm going to tell them something about, you know, I'm going to somehow make some judgment or determination that they'd be forced to make a decision to not be together or something, right? When in reality, I find that even within or after the first session, the vast majority of couples start to feel better. And within a few sessions, people are holding each other and crying and loving each other and soothing each other and comforting each other, when just a few weeks before that, they were both competing to tell me how rotten the other person is, right? So that's like, I mean, again, like that's crazy, right? To get to see that all day, every day, and to be the facilitator of that, like what a gift, you know?
Oh, it's totally awesome to see it. I my own personal experience, you just don't know who's going to be able to be receptive to those moments. There's couples that they're not ready, which is fine. And then there's couples that are ripe. And it's like when people sit down in front of me, I don't have any idea from the first session who's going to be doing what.
Yeah. I mean, here's like, you know, I always say is like, you know, I've been waiting for you. Right. I've been sitting here waiting for you until things got bad enough that you would come to see me. And this is an opportunity where we can now start to make things better again. Right.
I like that.
We're going to climb a mountain together. And I have been up and down this mountain thousands of times. And almost everybody makes it up and down the mountain. Right. The hardest part is the very first part. Right. The hardest part is just getting people on the same team to see that they have a common enemy, the negative system they get in together. It's not you're bad or I'm bad. It's both of us. And it only happens because we love each other so much. And at first, that's a message I'm helping them get and repeating back to them. And eventually, it's no longer me telling them. It's their major narrative about what happens between them. And then at that point, when I can then help them actually love each other and share with each other, we have this really awkward moments, usually around the 12th session or so, where I have to say, look, I hate to tell you, but I know you like coming to see me every week, but it's time to go. Right? Your time with me is done. You do not need me. Can you reach out to me? Like, you know, going forward, if you really need to come back? Absolutely. Right. Again, I give away my age. I always say you can keep me in your Rolodex. But the thing I love about couples work, people get better and they're done. The idea is not that they stay attached to me, is I help them be able to get that comfort and support from each other. I love that.
That's really cool.
You get victories. And I want to be clear, and it's not just me. Again, I do believe it's emotionally focused therapy. The vast majority of the time, couples get better and they stay better, right? And so it's, you know, it's phenomenal.
That's really cool.
In my opinion.
What do you feel like, let me ask this again. Yeah, I was reading through some of your blogs, and
Yeah.
I noticed that you like to talk about paradigm shifting with
Right.
couples and relationships and
Yeah.
men. And what do you feel like is the most prominent change in couples culture and
Right.
paradigms right now?
Well, I think, the way attachment theory is coming more and more into the fore and is like just accepted as more and more as the leading model or theory to help us understand what happens between two adults that are trying to stay connected emotionally to each other. And so what that tells me, or what I take from it, right, is the very thing that a couple is seeing as the problem is actually the solution. Just seen from just a slight tilt of the head, just a slightly different perspective, right? That the reason you're fighting is not that your relationship is bad. It's because you guys are so important to each other. You're physiologically built that if your emotional bond to your primary attachment figure seems threatened, you're going to react, you're going to have a hard time, right? Because love matters that much. Now, when people start to believe that, even like no matter what you do, you're going to have a few moments or minutes or hours of being in a fight and it's going to really hurt. But at the end of that fight, if you end up with how you make sense of what happened is like, oh my God, look what we just did because we love each other so much. Isn't that crazy? I just spent the last half hour shouting at you because it seemed like you weren't there for me. Wow, do I love you? And the other person is, I went to my room and I pulled the covers over my head because I felt awful, because I felt like I was never, ever going to be enough for you. Damn, look how much pain I can feel because of how important you are to me. Wow, now they can love each other again, right? So reframing what conflict really means, why it happens, and how that the most vulnerable part inside of you is not a weak part, it's not a needy part, it's the best part of who you are. It's lovable, it deserves love, and that is the same for every single human being on this planet, right? So I work really hard on helping people start to consider, right, that the parts of yourself that you try desperately not to feel and show other people, that they are beautiful parts of who you are. And we want to get them out into the light and let them be loved up by yourself and your partner. So
Yeah. Do you feel like men tend to struggle more than women? And if so, do you feel like it's shifting so men are becoming more emotionally in tune?
right. Well, so look, I think that's definitely the story that's out there. And I actually find that men, and again, this is a big generalization, but men often get it much quicker than women in the room.
Really?
Yeah, right. Because let's just say, like, you look, let's say the vast majority of people who are pursuing for closeness are women, and the vast majority of people that are pulling away from closeness, they're withdrawing, are men. But then remember, no one's ever pulling away from closeness because they don't want it. It's just because it hurts so much to feel like they're a disappointment when they do get close. So you give then the withdrawer, most of the time the man, but definitely not always, you give that person some space and time to explore and be curious about and sit in the pain that they're actually in, right? That they're not just being bombarded with, but why didn't you take me on a date? Why didn't you come home? Why did you come home late, right? That we actually get to like really create a safe container for them to sit in and notice their pain, and that their partner or spouse sees, oh my God, I thought you actually just didn't care, but it turns out you're hurting so much inside, right? I just think men haven't been given the right space to to feel inside themselves and to show the level of pain they're in when they're disconnected in relationship, right? I'm constantly blown away at the emotional intelligence of men when given the space and time. Ironically, because this story is so pervasive that it's the women are trying so hard, or the emotion pursuer is trying so hard, and the man or the emotion withdrawer, right, is just not doing anything, right? That's now harder to break down that, hey, come here, that isn't the whole story. That's not what's really happening at all. That can take a little longer to break down and change. Not always, right? But damn, I don't want to get myself in trouble, right? But you know, both people are hurting. Both people need a bit of time to be able to feel the pain and share it with each other a little bit differently. Right? So,
Yeah, I like that. There's an inverse to that. Giving space to the pain, and then you're kind of moving through the resistance so it can help you. And I do see that happen a lot. I see men giving themselves some space and patience to
right,
feel what they need to feel, and then yeah, like you said, the woman is looking at him like, "Whoa, who is this? And where
right,
did this part come from?" And
yeah.
that's a cool moment when that
Yeah,
happens.
beautiful. You know, in emotionally focused therapy, we call that the dog and recorder moment, right?
Okay.
Like, you know, like a recorder, like a tin whistle or something. Like, you know, if you blow in a tin whistle or a recorder, a dog's head will just go to the side and go, "Whoop, what's that?" Right? So yeah, those moments are amazing where you help like an emotional withdrawal, let's say a man, most of the time, right? Like show that they're actually hurting inside. It's not that they're just defensive or they don't care. And you see the emotional pursuer woman most of the time go like, whoa, what was that? Right? Who is that person? Yeah, it's a beautiful moment, right? It's a beautiful moment. And the beginning of a path out of, you know, like unrelenting conflict or, you know, having the same fight over and over again.
Well, absolutely. You start to heal couples, and men and women start giving themselves permission to be vulnerable.
Right.
Not to sound melodramatic, but imagine how the world can change when people start to have conflict resolution.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, you know, I definitely feel like, you know, the key for, you know, our planet, human beings to thrive is empathy. And the best cauldron, you know, or like landscape I know to actually learn how to be empathic is within an intimate relationship between two people. And then if we can really get that part, then we can project out that empathy onto everyone else in the world.
That's awesome. You're doing really important work.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it feels good.
that's why I wanted to do this with you. I just like you know, I see you like online, and I just really appreciate you and your energy and the work you're doing. So I was, you know, delighted when the opportunity arose for us to talk. So thank you.
Hey, well, thanks, and I appreciate you saying that. I got one more question for you, and we're going to break down into kind of
Right.
some smaller questions for the listeners. But what's the main thing that you want people to take away from our conversation today?
I guess the main thing is that love matters, and because it matters so much, you're gonna feel threatened in moments where it looks like that love isn't present. That's going to happen regardless of how amazingly awesome your relationship is. So not to get overly freaked out that there's something wrong with your relationship if you get stuck or lost, right? In fact, getting stuck or lost, seen from just a slightly different perspective, is actually the path out, right? Wow, look how much you mean to each other, right? So, yeah.
I like that.
Thanks. Cool.
All right. I got a few questions for you. Ready for me to kind of pick your brain here?
Please.
Successful couples therapist in San Francisco, California. And what one daily habit do you find yourself doing that leads to you being a good couples therapist?
Wow. Leads to me being a good couples therapist. I thought you were going
Or
to
just being successful?
being successful.
Yeah.
I don't wait till I'm perfect. Just like getting on this call, right? You know, I was saying like I share my wife's a couples therapist too. Hold on one sec. My wife's a couples therapist too, and she's using our office right now. So like I was like, oh my God, should I call John and cancel? Because I don't know when the mailman's going to come and the dog is going to go crazy, or like, you know, there's construction outside. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do this. It's grand, right? So yeah, just I like what Mark Zuckerberg says, right? Just ship it, right? Just ship it. Don't keep fixing it and trying to make it better. And in terms of as a couples therapist, like, and some of this is the city I live in, right, San Francisco. If someone calls me, I will call them back walking down the street to go get a cup of coffee, right? I'm not going to wait till I'm sitting in my office and I can call them back from my office phone. I'll text people back. I'll, send a very brief email, like, just don't wait till the perfect circumstances to make the next move. That's what I say.
Yeah, I like it. Favorite book or podcast, something that you keep up with or you like to tell other people about?
Well, my favorite book that I recommend to clients is Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. And again, this so in some ways I really combine. Now, by the way, the secondary title is something like, Buddhist way or whatever, but nobody's going to get indoctrinated into the Buddhist faith or anything, but she's definitely a Buddhist teacher, right? But just this notion that, look, everyone at their core has parts inside that feel unacceptable. And it's that coming to accept those parts in yourself and love those parts in yourself that we can actually live a happier life. Right. So it's a little at first paradoxical for most people. Right. So I find that book tremendously helpful. I've actually thought about I should write her and ask for royalties because I recommend it so much. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, so that's my favorite book. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Great. And as far as you go, like your business, what do you have going on in the near future? You got any workshops or programs or books that you're
well, I'm glad you asked that because so this is the thing. Like I've done all sorts of things in my life. I was a stockbroker. I was the head of business development for a startup company. I was a chef or, worked in the kitchen at Esalen Retreat Center in Big Sur. And this is the first time in my life, like, I feel like I'm using my capacities like to their fullest, like, ability to manifest creatively in the world. And so it's kind of crazy the amount of ideas and creative projects that I could do right now and I'm trying to do. But the main one is I'm about to launch, hopefully sometime in the next month, a new website called empathy.com, and the last letter of empathy is an I, not a Y. So EMPATHI.com. And empathy is basically going to be a free tool for couples so that you can learn about who you are from an attachment perspective and who your partner is from an attachment perspective and who you guys are together from an attachment perspective, and then get daily reminders or prompts about how to continue to attend to your love and relationship. It's all free, right? So I'm like crazy. I'm building this, like, I have all these people helping me. That's the stressful part, right? That no one else is doing it for free. But I really, really want to try and get this wisdom into the hands of more people. The fact that the only way as of right now, people really get access to this information, right, is like they have to come into my office and pay like, hundreds of dollars for one session, like, is crazy. Right. I want to create a lower barrier for entry for people. And so I'm trying to find digital, innovative, creative ways to do it. And so that's what empathy.com is. And then the other thing is I'm just writing as much as I can. I don't know if you saw, like, my last article is like, ignore this advice. It's ruining your relationship, about how please stop asking your partner to meet your needs. You're going to get yourself in trouble. And then the one before that was sometimes you're an asshole. Which the title kind of ruined any chance of virality, but I just couldn't give up the title. But so I'm just having lots of fun at being creative and trying to get this wisdom out there to more people.
Yeah. Well, it shows. I mean, the methods that you're choosing, and, you don't have to do free website. There's a lot of ways you could probably monetize that, but but to be focused on just getting that good information to people. That's really cool. And, your blogs I've been keeping up with, and I like your writing style.
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So definitely be sharing a lot of that on the page, the Facebook page for the True Calling Project, and
Awesome.
keep me up to date on the launch for the website too.
Yeah. Well, and likewise, please keep me up to date what you're doing. And I'll share with you the empathy.com site when it's ready. I'm really hoping it's pretty detailed process, right? It's probably like at least 30 minutes of content and all the daily reminders for couples. And then we're also in the process, like version 2, we're going to have a iOS app in the works where it's going to be like an actual chat box, a bot, B-O-T, where you could actually talk to, we're calling it Figlet, little figs. Like, at any moment on demand, you can talk to little figs. And so, yeah, loads of like what I think should be like really fun, creative, packed with value things that people can do so that the only option to get this wisdom and experience that I'm so excited about isn't having to come in and pay me loads of money.
Right.
So, because that's the other thing, right? As a couples therapist, there's only so many people I can see. Right. And I know that's a class A problem to have,
right.
But it isn't, I really am passionate about helping people love each other and feel more connected. I want to get it out to more people.
I love it, man. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, this has been an awesome conversation with you, man. We covered so much, and we talked before we started recording, and we were talking about timeline. I kind of wish we could go another 30 minutes or so, but hey, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
John, thank you. Anybody that ever listens to me and would like listen to me talk is like one of my best friends ever. Right. So like, look, the fact that you listen to me and ask me questions for like 45 minutes, I love you forever now.
Hey, well, next time you're in Cincinnati, look me up and we'll
and you're out here in San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Figs. Well, take care of yourself. Have a good week, and I'll talk with you soon, man.
Thank you. Bye, John.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
All right.